thanks to Leadership Windsor Essex for hosting us today and providing me this opportunity to share the state of our city with everyone gathered here, as well as with our broader community live on AM 800 and later on Cogeco TV. 11 years old now, Leadership Windsor Essex is one of only 22 community leadership programs across our country. As you heard, they promote, they encourage, and they develop our local talent. Individuals from our community, from diverse backgrounds of all ages, united in their belief that we can make our community a better place, that we can build a community of caring and dedicated individuals, that all of us can make a difference. Already over 200 members have graduated from the Leadership Windsor Essex program, and today they are providing strong and effective leadership in our community. To each of them, thank you. Thank you for giving back and for making a difference right here at home. 5 years ago this week, the Conference Board of Canada reported that the Windsor area was expected to post the slowest rate of economic growth among Canadian cities for the second year in a row. Remember what they said. It was harsh. It was depressing. The Toronto Star followed up with a story a year later, again choosing to focus on our city and on our challenges. They ran a story titled "Windsor is Falling Apart." Then it got worse. Even the highly respected Economist magazine wrote an article titled "Canada's Stalled Economy, Humbling of Detroit North." I hated those articles. The story they told was this: they only spoke of our economic crisis, of the end of our run, of major plant closures and jobs that would never, ever return. A city on the brink with no hope of pulling back. That's what they said. I believe, not due to pride and not because I was ignorant to the global economic financial crisis and its devastating impact on our North American manufacturing. I didn't believe them because they didn't know the people of our city. They didn't take the time to get to know us, to really understand us, to appreciate what we were capable of overcoming and what we were able to achieve. Those articles were very personal for me, as I know they were for many of you. They stung, they hurt. But I knew something that they didn't. We were on to something. We were already working hard to turn our city and our region around. We were implementing a plan fundamental to our city's renewal. We were getting back to basics, reducing costs, eliminating debt, making transformative investments, real investments. We were charting our own destiny. And we understood what it took. We understood what it took and what it would take to thrive in the new economy post-recession without being distracted. By remaining focused on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to redefine our city and the way we do business, while at the same time to transform the face of our community. We learn from others. We learn from others, other organizations. Other organizations that were also attacked, were derided and written off by many. In fact, when you think about it, we're a pretty good company. Take the Ford Motor Company, great pioneer of the automotive industry. In December of 2008, you could buy a share of the Ford Motor Company for less than a cup of coffee. You could buy a share for less than a cup of coffee. How many of you bought shares? Now Ford is thriving once again. Why? Because they had a strategy. They were focused and they got back to the basics. Chrysler was hemorrhaging money and market share. It sought bankruptcy protection. There were those that said Chrysler lacked the technology to provide the smaller, more efficient, fuel-saving vehicles the market was demanding. Its very existence and the jobs it represented were in jeopardy. Today, the Windsor Assembly Plant has become the first ever automotive facility to receive the bronze status for implementing world-class manufacturing. It's the highest ranking of any of their other facilities. Chrysler is back. They were focused. They got back to basics. In 1993, IBM posted an $8 billion loss, a U.S. record at the time. Pundits and experts written them off. Today, their share price is well over $200. They were focused, and they got back to basics. And everyone's favorite Apple. Can't tell you the number of times over the course of their history when the experts predicted their doom and their demise. And I don't think I need to tell you how well they're doing either. They were focused, and they got down to basics. And the lesson that we can take from all of these organizations, the common thread is being pushed to the brink, but having a strategy to make a comeback. And when you carefully study these remarkable stories, these amazing reversals, you quickly see and come to understand similarities. You focus on the basics, you get the fundamentals right. You drive structural changes to reduce costs and eliminate waste. You work to build a brand new culture, one that looks to the future rather than dwelling on the past. And you challenge the status quo. And importantly, perhaps more important, you never give up. You never give up, even under the glare and pressure of those who no longer believe. And friends, that's exactly what we've done. And we've done it together. As a community that always believed that by making the right choices, we could reshape our city, our community. The people of Windsor, people like you here today, all of you here today, and those listening at home, you are my personal heroes. When our economy was being pounded by global economic conditions, when our municipal debt was the highest per capita in the province, when our automotive industry was slipping away, when many wrote us off, we stood together. We stood together and we got to work. And we made the necessary changes. Transformational changes. We had a vision. We had an economic recovery plan. We remained focused and we took advantage of the opportunity before us. And today, my friends, we have arrived. We are a new city, a stronger city. Gone are the days when we thought fate controlled our destiny, when we blamed others for our struggles, when we looked to Queen's Park or to Ottawa or anywhere other than to ourselves to bail us out. Today, we are in charge. We are in control. We are defining our opportunities and our solutions, not by fate, nor by accident, but by design. I'm very fortunate to have council colleagues who believe passionately in the future of our city, who appreciate that campaigning is one thing, but governing is another. And who also understand that once you're elected, it's your responsibility to be part of the solution that gets the job done. Please join me once again in recognizing our council colleagues. I'd also like to recognize Warden Tom Bain, who's been a great partner in all of this. And we forged some pretty good relationships. But at all, the most common to that relationship is our desire to move this region forward. So to Warden Bain and to our county colleagues, thank you for your partnership. Most of us have been together on council since '03. Developing and implementing the policies and strategies that are working for us here today. Not strategies for the short-term gain, but for long-term sustainable and progressive growth. Policies and strategies based on uncompromising principles and beliefs. Principles and beliefs that each of us, as leaders, committed to the rebuilding of our city, cannot and will not sacrifice. By putting taxpayers first. Putting good government ahead of petty politics. Understanding that we are constantly facing competition for jobs and investing. These principles and beliefs are at the heart of our vision to make our community, our city, the most affordable and attractive community. Affordability means lowering debt, delivering services for better value, and keep the taxes low. And we've delivered. When I was first elected in 2003, our municipal debt was the highest per capita in the province of Ontario. Every man, woman, and child in Windsor carried a debt burden of more than $1,200 and climbing. Our long-term debt was over $229 million in 2002, projected to climb to $370 million. In my 2003 inaugural address, I said we had a choice. We could continue to ignore our debt, saddle our children with this burden, threaten the long-term future growth and prosperity of our city, or we could face the debt head-on. We made the right choices. We made tough decisions. We had to cut costs. But today our debt is projected to drop to $113 million by 2015. And all of us